Welcome, everyone. My name is Colleen Lemma. I'm a starseed astrologer, spiritual messenger, and we are here with Cards and Coffee with Colleen and Kathi for January 2024, the new month of the new year. So exciting. I'm going to let Kathi introduce herself.
Hi, I'm Kathi Munson. I am a psychic medium, been on this path for 22 years. Healer, past life, regressionist. I have a boatload of things that I do. I'm very, very, very thrilled to be here today for sure to
Yay,
help all of you.
because last time in December she was supposed to be here if some of you were in that one, and she had like the internet went out kaput. So
Had no electricity, no internet, no, yeah, couldn't get on, couldn't pay somebody to let me on. It just, yeah.
So
Yeah.
we're glad Kathi's here today. So Kathi and I usually start just a couple of minutes each, kind of just giving you a little bit of the energy on a collective level that's going on or what we're picking up because it's now a new year. And we'll start with that. I'm going to tell you that this is an astrologically like happen in time. It's interesting the difference to me between 2023's energy and 2024's energy. I don't know if you all feel the same way, but 2023 was a very internal, self-reflective, nothing really outer environmental, career-wise or whatever. Nothing seemed to be happening or moving forward in a very good way. We were going through a lot of like shifting and healing of feelings on the emotional level, on the mental level. Now that 2024 has come in, I felt like an immediate difference. Like really, on the first day of the first month of the new year, I was like, hallelujah. Like I feel motivated again. I feel, my energy's coming back physically. And I just felt a huge difference. And we do have a huge difference in the energy because this is an 8 universal year. Confidence, courage, life force energy, take charge, be a leader, make things happen in your life, take action. So it's much more action oriented. We've got Pluto in this month of January. On the 20th, actually, the 20th of January, we've got Pluto, planet of death and rebirth, transformation, regeneration. It's moving out of its many years stay in Capricorn, somewhere between 15 and 20 years it's been in Capricorn, maybe 12, I don't know. But in Capricorn, it's been transforming the third dimensional paradigm that we live in and operate in. And we've seen that. I'm not going to go into it deeply, but banking institutions, other types of institutions, people with money and power, politics, there's been a breaking down that's starting, that's going to continue in the years to come. But Pluto's moving into Aquarius for the next somewhere between 12 and 30 years because it varies with its time that it spends in each time of the zodiac. As it's moving into Aquarius, we're going into a whole new paradigm of energy. We're going to see a lot of changes happening. And some of those changes are definitely, well, they already began, but we're going to see more of it being initiated. And I'm excited that on January 26th, so 6 days after Pluto goes into Aquarius, the ruling planet of Aquarius, which is Uranus, known as the Great Awakener, change maker, it's all about freedom and liberation, is turning back to direct motion, and his energies are going to be magnified around that time period. Once Uranus moves to direct motion, all the planets are moving forward until April 1st. That's a big one. All the planets moving forward in direct motion until April 1st allows us to really move towards our goals, whatever your goals might be. It might be career, might be home and family stuff, might be financial stuff, but we're having this window of opportunity where things can start to really unfold more quickly and easily.
Yes.
The card I picked for the collective, and just a little side note, if everybody would just mute themselves for a moment, once we pick you for a mini reading, you can unmute yourselves, but I'm hearing some background noise. I picked a card for the collective, everyone, message for all of you, and it says divine presence. And with Pluto moving into Aquarius and the ruler of Aquarius, Uranus, turning direct, it says the force of love and creation. So we've got the force of love and creation behind us to move us forward. The divine presence, God, universe, great spirit, all that is really assisting us as we move into a new paradigm of energy that we're really going to start seeing. And I pulled one more card from one more deck. Didn't want to take up too much of your time here, but Dragon's Horde. Now, I don't know if that means anything to you guys, the Dragon Guide, but the Chinese Astrology New Year, I think it's February 10th is when the Chinese Astrology New Year comes in, and it's the year of the dragon, you guys. And dragons are powerful protectors and they're guides. It says at the bottom, protecting the future. So here we've got divine presence, we've got protecting the future coming in. And I don't know, I feel much more motivated, inspired about this year to come. Kathi, do you want to share any messages on the collective level that you got?
Yes, I also picked a few cards, and the things that I noticed the same thing, that there was definitely a shift in the energy when the new year came. You know, felt a lot lighter, a lot freer, you know, just felt like now I don't have to be so self-focused, which is kind of interesting, and started to like be able to look out and get more clarity, like you were saying, Colleen. So I just wanted to kind of touch on a few of those things that you had already mentioned. Um, I am not an astrologist like Colleen, so I will say that. I am an intuitive and a seer. So a lot of my intuition comes from just knowledge and the connection between myself and my guides and the group that helps me do what I do. So the one thing that I have noticed lately is I'm seeing and hearing from a lot of clients and students, and I tend to learn a lot from, you know, just self energy and also other collective energies of the people that I see, and start to hear the same things, the repetition of things over and over and over again. And some of the things that I've been hearing most recently, like within the past 2 weeks, is a lot of ascension symptoms, which I think is interesting. Have you had that experience, Colleen?
Definitely. I was having it very much towards the last month or two of last year, especially, but
Yeah.
I'm still experiencing some piddly stuff going on for sure.
Yeah, I am experiencing things, and so are the collective. And the biggest thing that seems to be happening right now is sleeping. Sleeping is an interesting concept. I have been up since 3 o'clock in the morning. I don't know where you all are located. I'm in the Eastern Standard Time. So I've been up since 3 o'clock this morning, and it's still going strong. Um, but I mean, like literally wide awake. And then of course, you know, I have days that I sleep really well, and then days that I'm awake, which is interesting, and dreams. Like I've been hearing a lot of people having premonition dreams,
Mm.
and what do I do with it? I've never had this before. You know, how seriously do I take it? So again, just if you're going through any of those energetic issues, I guess I'll put it that way, then you know, just trust and believe that it's going to pass, because it always does, and try to just treat yourself sort of like with comfort and care and self-love, of course. So speaking of love, because Colleen already said that too. One of the cards that I got was it's called the Wild Rose Fairy and Love. When I look at cards, I'm very visual. When I do things, I tend to not always go with words. That's why I love cards that tend to not have words on them, because I'm very visual for me. But the love was the biggest thing. The love was really the most powerful thing, is coming back into alignment with loving yourself, loving the world, and try to stay there no matter what's going on. The interesting thing that I got while we're talking about the world was I actually got the world card. And after that came up transformation. So I thought that was rather interesting. And I love the depiction of this world card, because it's literally a man looking out on the world and seeing the world. And if you can see this, it's light and dark. So it always reminds me of yin and yang. So just remember, where there's always balance, always. When things are heavy and things may feel as though you're not in the right place or in darkness, if you want to put it that way, light is always there, always. There's always the balance of both. So staying positive, staying full of love, you know, continue to hold hope and put it out there, because our earth is transforming just like we are. You know, we all are going through that transformation. And I actually got 2 transformation cards. So it's a spirit trying to let us know, like, just letting you know, it's like it's a natural thing. So hang in there and really try to allow yourself to get through. And you know, you've got Colleen, you have me as well. Reach out to people that you trust, keep those around you that uplift you. That's always the most important thing. And try to still alleviate things that no longer serve you. And if there are people that are not uplifting you, then tend to keep a little distance, set a little boundaries, is what I always say about that. So that is my message for today.
Let me bounce off really quick off of one thing you said about light and dark, yin and yang, because I've been getting that message as well, that this is a powerhouse year where we can make our goals manifest into reality, but we need to balance that with that love and that self-nurturing and that caring for others, that empathic nature for others. This is an 8 universal year. So if you take the number 8 and you turn it on its side, it becomes the infinity symbol, which is about the balance of the masculine and the feminine energies. And that masculine is the yang, and it is that action-oriented, take charge energy. But then the other side of the coin is the feminine energy, the yin energy, where we just allow and we trust and have faith and we give love and nurturing and do healing. And so it's like this, really this give and take between those two energies this year is going to produce the best results for all of you. All right. So let's go ahead and choose our first person for a mini reading. We know Mary Jo, which is having trouble with her video. We know she wants a reading. If we don't mind, Kathi, we're going to, yes. Okay. Everybody's raising their hand. Got it. We're going to start with Mary Jo. Mary Jo, if you can unmute yourself for a moment and tell us your date of birth. I'm going to do a little bit of configuring while Kathi jumps in first.
Okay, 1-2-44.
And do you have a specific question or just do you want general, whatever comes up?
I want Kathi to speak to my husband.
Oh, okay. All right. Well then, Kathi,
Okay.
you're up.
All right. Well, I'm not where I thought I was going. So let me just take a moment to call them in. Oh my gosh. So the first thing that I'm feeling is I definitely feel all of this love just coming forward. I also have a female that's with me as well. Feels like mom, so I'm just gonna say that. But I know you're looking for your husband. I feel him as well. It's just sometimes some tend to come before the others, if you can think of it that way. I also know that he has an amazing smile. Does that make sense to you, Mary Jo?
Yes,
he had an amazing.
Yes, he does.
And he also comes with an energy of just sort of at peace, because that's the biggest thing that I keep hearing from him is I'm just at peace. I'm at peace. I just want you to know that. And feeling as though that it's interesting because you know that he's been around you because he's been trying to catch your attention is what he keeps telling me. Does that make sense to you?
Yes, but I don't see him doing that. The only thing I have that
he's talking about, he works more with sound and also the sense of feeling that he's there, because you keep feeling as though he's there. Would you understand that?
Yeah. The one thing I actually believe, I asked him for a dog before he passed. He said, no, not till after I go. And a friend of mine's dog got pregnant, and I said I wanted a puppy. Well, he died on August 14th. The puppy was born December 14th.
Oh,
I feel that is a gift from him.
Right. He's talking about that he wanted to really stay a little bit longer, that he really thought that he could hold on longer is how he's putting it to me. So I want to repeat it the way that I'm getting. I also get that there, he's showing me that he keeps showing me his hair. So I just have to say that. So I just want to say if whether he didn't have hair and now he's got a full head of hair, because that's almost where I want to go with that.
He did.
But he's talking about that. He's just saying, tell her how good I look. He keeps like kind of moving back and forth and dancing a little and doing like a little jig and saying, I have all of my faculties back. I feel really good. I am around you. He also has told me that you've heard him, like you've heard his voice since he's passed. Does that make sense?
No.
Okay, well, he's telling me that you did. So I'm just going to say, not that I don't believe you and I believe him, but that's kind of how it works for me. But he's talking about, that, and if he says, if you think after I pass, like shortly after I passed, he keeps telling me that you've heard his call your name, because that's what he's giving me. And also he makes sound in your house. Like he kind of bangs in your house, like almost like footprints, a thump on the wall, things like that. He's also talking about that Go ahead.
Yes, I have heard footsteps up in the attic for days.
Okay.
And I asked him one
Because
night, is that you up there?
yeah. Oh yeah.
Was
They're going to
driving
work
me
with however
crazy.
they can get you, because I feel like this poor man has been trying everything to get your attention, because that's what he keeps telling me. He also, I know that he loves music because I keep hearing music behind him as well. So I know
Right.
that there's a song that, hoping that I can get it. So I'll just say that. But again, I know that there's a song that he's trying to get me to hear. So right now I just have to say that. If that makes sense.
Hmm.
I also know that your
We
mom
used to
is
dance.
not gonna let me get by without saying a hello from her, because she keeps popping her head in front of him and just trying to say, like, I just want to say hi and tell her I love her. I just want to say hi. So again, I just feel like I just have to give that to you. And is there a Fred or a Harold? Well, I got both names, so I'm going to say that. I got a Fred and a Harold that's up there with them as well. Would that make sense to you? I feel like past generations, though. And if you can't think of it right away, I'm just going to give them to you
Okay.
because I heard them very clearly. There's also something about something coming up. Like, he knows that he was well remembered in December because he's talking about that. And again, mediums tend to not go into, holidays that everybody loves, but he's talking about in December specifically that you thought a lot of him, talked a lot of him. You always talk to him because he's talking about
Right.
that. He says, and lately she's been yelling at me. Like, you've kind of been a little angry with him or frustrated with him, I guess is how I want to put that. Does that
Right.
make sense
Because
to you?
I talked to him through my pendulum.
Oh, well, that's interesting. Okay. Didn't show
And
me
I,
that. That would have been a good one. I could have gotten that in a minute. I use my pendulum all the time. But he's just talking about how much he loves you and that he's grateful that you're here today and he was able to come through and say hello. And
I
that's what I
told
say.
him
And also, I
I
just
asked
want to
him.
ask you really quick. I feel very heavy in my chest with him because I keep feeling his energy like pushing on my chest. Would that make sense to you? I feel
Yes,
almost like, not like he had a heart attack, but I feel almost like something spread, because that's what it feels like to me. Would
he
that make
had
sense?
he had cancer and renal failure.
Okay. And I know that he hung on
Yes, he did.
because he keeps showing me like sort of backing off a little bit, and then he hears your voice and he comes back. That's what
Right.
he showed me, because he wanted to
I
be there
kept
for
telling
you.
him he couldn't die that day. I said, you can't die today. And he hung
Yeah, he
on
said
longer.
he tried to the best of his ability, and I truly feel like you know that
Yes, I do.
because he gave you signs of that.
Yes,
But
he
I'm going to
did.
tell you right now, he just loves, 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 loves you
I know.
and misses you as much as you miss him.
I know.
I
I
know.
asked him before he died to come back and get me. He said if he could, he would.
He has something to say about that. He's like, if I could come and get you, I would. He says, but it's not your time yet.
I know.
He says, you
And
have people still there to teach and take care of.
I know.
But he understands because he's talking about that. So I'm gonna leave that with you with much, much love from your husband and your mom.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And I'm just gonna pass it to Colleen.
Okay, Mary Jo. I don't connect with the loved ones like my co-host here does, but I did pull some cards to receive some messages from your husband. And he was showing me that he wants you to know, like, he's the challenges and the difficulties, especially in the last few months of his life, like they're all gone. Like he just totally shows this total releasing of all this challenging energy. And then he was showing me the beauty of the dimension that he's in, the beauty, the cornucopia of the golds and the sparkles and the just like the sunlight shining. And he was saying, I have so much more knowledge now that I'm here. Like he was talking about how much more spiritual knowledge and how he can see things that, he didn't when he was on the earth plane. He also talked to me about the contract, like the sacred soul contract he made to incarnate with you, and also though to incarnate with certain, family members. This was something that he, made a choice of. And of course, the different family members, I don't know what his family upbringing was, or his relationships with his family. But even if there was challenging relationships, he chose it and contracted to incarnate with them in order to learn something huge for his soul growth and evolution. And then the last thing he was showing me is that since he's crossed over, I don't know how he wanted to phrase this, but it's like, you know, he's been sitting down doing life reviews with different, you know, guides and stuff on the other side. And he was all excited and almost a little giddy and saying, I passed a lot of tests. I passed a lot of tests. Like he learned, like whatever it was that they were talking about and asking him questions like, what did you learn? And, you know, and all this kind of stuff. He, basically he's just saying he passed with flying colors, and he wanted you to know that he's doing really well. So that's the messages that I got for you.
Thank you.
You are very welcome. You're welcome, hon. All right, Kathi, I'm going to let you choose the next person.
I'm drawn to Maria. I had a feeling you were gonna ask, not that I was like staring at everybody, but I just feel very drawn to Maria for some reason.
All right, where's Maria? There we go.
I'm here.
Maria, what is your date of birth?
She's in her car.
She's in her car.
I am in my car. As I have children, it's the only space that I have that is private.
Oh, we totally understand.
I was born in February 5th, 1976.
February 5th, 1976. And do you have a specific question or just general to see what they say?
I just need general guidance, but I wanted to ask you a question before we start. I was born in February, so I'm Aquarius. And you said this is the year of the Aquarius. So that was
it's definitely, I think, because Pluto is the planet of transformation, like big, huge changes come with Pluto, and it's going into your sign of the zodiac, that you're in line for some very big transformation and change, which is good.
Right. Yes, because I'm expecting a lot of changes. And also, I was born in 1976, so in the Chinese astrology, I'm a dragon.
Oh my gosh. Well, this is your year, my dear. The year of the dragon commences.
So I am expecting a lot. I mean, Chinese, dragon, and Aquarius. Come on. So
exactly.
I wanted to point that out.
You better write out your goals. I'll say something really quick, just, you know, from my own mind before I pass it to Kathi, because I like to let her go first. But the new moon that we just had, which was on Thursday. Yeah, this past Thursday was the new moon. That's particularly important because it was the first new moon of this new month and the new year. And Uranus, remember how we talked about Uranus, which rules Aquarius and is about change and freedom and liberation and awakening. Well, Uranus trined or connected positively to that new moon that we had on Thursday, and it continues to make that positive connection until the end of March. So all of you out there should pay attention to that, because between now and the end of March, there's like change as far as setting your goals. What are your ambitions? What are your aims for this year? Like, go ahead and do a new moon ceremony, even though the new moon was a couple of days ago, and write out what it is that you want to accomplish for this year. And Uranus connecting to that until the end of March, because it's right now kind of at a stop point and getting ready to change directions, which is why it's taking so long before it moves away from that degree. That's going to help to bring in the freedom and liberation from old things that you no longer need to carry, and help you to bring in or redirect into the new things that you all will be ready for, or your soul at least is ready for, whether or not your humanness is ready for it, but your soul is ready for. So I'm going to pass it to Kathi.
Yeah. There's a lot, because I'm getting a lot. Like I was getting like, so the reason that I chose you, because I just kept being like, my eyes kept diverting to you and diverting to you and diverting to you. And I kept hearing, you know, my guides talking about, like, you needed a message. Not that none of you need messages, so I'm just going to say that. But the interesting thing about what you're going through this year, and you know, Colleen, you know, I was just like going, as I am very, as you can see, I'm very animated. So I'll just say that. So when she talks, I'm like, like making all kinds of gestures, trying not to interfere, but like we just tend to connect that way. But the interesting thing is I'm going to try to get this card as close as I can. You got the transmutation card, and I love this card because it's not just transformation, it's transmutation. So if you think about where we were last year, where everything was internal, we were working on releasing everything we no longer need, and getting ourselves past like past life things that are connecting with this lifetime, and working on ourselves to get ourselves in a better state of mind, a better job, better house, better person, better partner. I mean, maybe you want to have a child, but you already have children. So again, transmutation is taking all of that and truly creating not just a new transformation of our life, our world, whatever. Transmutation is about physically changing yourself, like physically changing yourself. So thinking about, okay, now I've finally gotten rid of the excess stuff in my house. I'm just making up something as an analogy. Now I've gotten rid of the stuff in my house. So now it's time for me to make a total change. Like I can calm my mind down. I can find a better spirit. And there's something about you not meditating like you used to, because I keep getting messages that you need to start taking time for yourself. I know you have children. Totally get it. So do I. But well, mine are older now. Now I'm kind of like, I'm going in the other room. But again, it's like making sure that you take time for yourself as much as you give to them. You have got to start taking time for yourself and getting yourself back in alignment with where you need to be. It's going to be very important for the path that in the trajectory of where you want to go. You know that you're an empath. You know that you're a healer. I'm hoping. If not, surprise, you're an empath and a healer. So,
I have been getting hints. I have been getting hints that I am this, and I don't know. I don't feel like I am, but I've been getting a lot of hints that I am my intuition is high and I'm empath. I don't know how to even start that.
When you were younger, you felt so much that you got to a point that you closed it down. That's what they're showing me. And now you're starting to like slowly open that back up again to where you're starting to allow yourself to feel, you're starting to allow yourself to come into what you need to come into. That's the transmutation part, is to get yourself back in alignment with what and who you are. Now, when I say that you're a healer, that doesn't mean that you have to go be a nurse or a therapist or the technical healing medical things that we think of. It's also teachers and artists and musicians. And teaching can be any kind of teaching. I see what they keep showing me. I always say but it's really the guides giving it to me. What I keep seeing is I keep seeing you teaching, like learning something on this path and then being able to now share it with other people. So also, I also see you working on people. So I don't know if you ever thought about doing energy work, but I would highly recommend it.
Oh, I am a teacher by
one of your children.
A teacher by trade.
Go ahead.
Sorry, I'm a teacher by trade. I am a teacher by trade.
You've been a teacher in a lot of lifetimes. I'll just forewarn you of that.
I am a teacher by trade. I teach college and also elementary level. I hear what you're saying. I feel like I've been pulled to this direction. You're not you're the person who said it, but I've been reading and listening to things telling me this is your path. I quite honestly I feel like I'm closed to in my own intuition, to listening on my own, unless I'm hearing it from someone else or reading it. I myself don't know. I'm close. So I like, how can this be? I cannot do it by myself. I don't know if that makes sense.
No, it absolutely makes sense. I don't think Colleen didn't do it by herself. I didn't do it by myself. We got on the path, and I'm sure that Colleen had good teachers just like I did. I'm sure that her guides, once we started to work with hearing and connecting and getting information from our guides, it takes time. Like everything else, it takes time. And sometimes you have to, and I did this when I started, is I acted as if, I had somebody who knew who I was before I knew who I was. And I had learned how to do card readings, tarot readings. And she kept saying to me, do a reading for me. And I'm like, no, I told you I just signed up for a class. Like I had just signed up for the class and she already wanted me to do a reading for her. She goes, you know how to do it. Come on, you can do that. So she knew me before I knew me. And I will never forget that, because what I started to think is I'm like, well, if she thinks I'm that, I guess I'm just going to act as if I am. And that helped a lot because it helped me to get rid of that monkey mind, that mind that says you can't, that mind that says you don't feel. And the biggest thing that I can tell you, Maria, is do you. Just do you. I get things a certain way, Colleen gets things a certain way, and you get them different. It's always going to be that. Do what you know how to do. The biggest thing they keep showing me is showing me like a notebook that they want you to write in the things, the hits that you're getting. So every once in a while you get these intuitive hits. And they're talking about start writing them down, because after you start writing them down, they're going to come often. And you're going to start to see like, oh my gosh, I really am getting something. Something is really happening here. And you're going to know that. Oh, I have goosebumps everywhere when I'm telling you this. Because that's what they do to me. You know, and then once we're off of here, I'm going to have to run to the restroom. But, but you know, it's a lot of that. And you have a son, you have a younger son.
I have a son.
Yeah, because he's incredibly gifted as well. And I know you already know that.
Yes, he's
because
very
they're
gifted.
showing me him. The more you're able to get on your path, the more he's going to be accepting of his own. He watches everything you do. He already knows who you are before you even know who you are. You guys have been in many lifetimes together. And again, I know you have other children because I told me you have other children. But he's the one that you just know. I have 2 children. My son I know really, really well, and I've been in past lives with him. But I love my daughter just as much. And just because I don't know what lifetimes we've shared at this point in time, it doesn't matter. We still are very close. So, you know, just allow yourself. I do think that you both will be helping each other when he gets older, because I keep getting that.
My son is high functioning autistic, and he's so very special, very sensitive. And I have a husband who's very religious. And I don't want to be in this religion anymore. I feel like I don't fit. Oh my God, it's going to be on YouTube. But I don't feel like I don't fit in this religion. And I am outside the church. I'm not outside my house because I don't want to be in there. And I feel like if I don't do what he says, then I have to divorce him at some point. I know I do. But I'm afraid of being alone. But I feel like this is where I belong. This kind of thing that makes me feel alive. Not church.
The interesting thing about you being alone, you will never be alone. We're never alone. And what's going to happen is once you create this space, I'm not telling you to divorce your husband. That's totally a self-will choice. But if you go that direction and you do leave him, you are going to open a space for all like-minded souls to come and be friends with you. I have such an amazing soul family, that I know in a minute, if I need them to be there, that they would be there for me. So that's going to happen for you because, you know, you're meant to be enlightened. Spirit's not going to let you down. You know, they've got your back. And your son is amazing. I know that does he speak? Does your son speak?
Yeah, no, he's very high functioning. He's very extremely intelligent. He plays the piano, but he is very sensitive. And he's being brought up in this religion that it's very, for me, it's rigid. And so at times when my husband is not around, I try to, so he's very anxious because he's sensitive. He's speaking up. I know he's speaking up on a lot of things. So he is very anxious. And when my husband is not around, by the way, everybody, my husband is a very wonderful man. Okay.
Oh, of course.
But my son and I need this, not religion. We need meditation. We need to, you know, just be in a different realm that the religion is giving him. And so when I'm by myself, I try to tell him, okay, honey, why don't we meditate? Why don't we do affirmations? This is going to help you get rid of this anxiety, because he's such a people pleaser. He wants to please my husband, you know, his father. And so that creates a lot of anxiety in my son. And I see this, I'm amazed that you mentioned him, because I'm like, I had such a close connect. I love my daughter. And I think he's also very good at picking up things. But my son, I have a great connection with him.
I also know that your son, the reason I asked you if he talks or not, because
Yeah, he
they keep
talks.
showing me how you you hear him. Not
Telepathic.
meaning when he talks to you, you hear him. You're telepathically hear him.
Yeah.
That's how connected the two of you are. I keep getting that for you. So he might just be sitting there not saying a word, and you're like, I already know what you're gonna say. I can already hear you. You know, it's like he
I feel his
communicates.
anxiety. I feel his anxiety. I feel like when he's anxious.
You will
That
connect more. I know that it is already coming to you, but I also know it's another learning thing for you to pick up on. So I'll say that. I mean, we know our children. I'm not saying that we don't know our children, but my son, like I'm in a space right now that I'm not at home with my children. And I know my son and I always feed off each other, even though we're not around each other. You know, I can tell that he's had a good day or a bad day. It's the strangest thing. Like when I was having really, really good days, I'd come home and my husband was like, "Oh, your son's so funny today. He's fooling around today. He said he's in a good mood." And then when I was at work, when I used to work a real job, I'll just put it that way, he would have I would be having like a terrible day. And he would say, "Your son is crazy. You got to hurry up and come home and take care of him." So yeah. So it's just like we're just very, very interconnected that way. So yeah. Anyway, I'm yakking on and on. I really want to give Colleen a chance to speak.
I
So I'm going to kind of pass it and keep my mouth shut for a little bit.
Well, I got so many wonderful messages from Maria, you know, in the beginning, not that they've gone away, they're still there, but then of course, you know, this line of communication came up and then I was getting all different kinds of messages on top of the good messages. And I'm like, I don't even know where to start. But I feel like I want to start with just the fact that, you know, you are very psychic and you were talking about, I don't know how to like tap into it or how do I, you know, I don't feel like I'm very psychic or intuitive. This is the thing. It's like you're an Aquarius. Aquarius in astrology rules like the God mind, the connection to the cosmos, the connection to the universe. And so when they receive information, a good deal of it is like downloads of information, just like it pops into your head like a thought. It's called clair intellect or claircognizance. And that's the
yes.
hardest clair to believe in because like Kathy's very clairvoyant, right? So she sees things. I'm really clairaudient and clairsentient, so I hear and feel things. And then we probably have the other clairs too, but maybe to a little lesser degree. But you have that clair intellect and claircognizance. And that a
Mm-hmm.
lot of times for a person feels like, well, that's just my own idea. That's just my own thought. That's just popping in
Right.
my head. And this is, you know, something that's actually a very high tuned and important psychic ability. So you have to start like trusting it and realizing that it's not just always your own ego thoughts. It's from that God mind. It's from that higher level that these things are just like popping in your head. It usually comes like little flashes of insight or little lightning bolts or whatever.
Okay.
So they wanted you to know that. Then you were talking about your son with Kathi, and they said in my head, tell her to read the book called The Children of Now. I think it's
Okay.
I think it's Dr. Meg Blackburn, if I remember the author correctly. But The Children of Now, I feel like it's going to explain to you a lot about the gifts that your son has, the energy regarding your son, because the children of now, it talks about the indigo children, the crystal children. I think there's something about the rainbow children in there, but it also talks about children um, that we would like assign a label of like maybe autistic or they learn differently or they're more silent and in themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And these
Yeah.
are gifted children that are coming in to this new paradigm of energy on the planet. So if you order that book, The Children of Now, I think it's going to help you a lot.
Okay.
So now I want to go to, you know, you come in as the teacher and someone who's here to utilize their creative expression. That's your like the big picture of who you are as a soul. It's like speaking, teaching, writing, creative expression. And that goes along with the Aquarius, right? The Aquarius is like the humanitarian and how can I serve and connecting with groups of like-minded people. So another thing that came in when you were talking to Kathi was, I feel like during this year for you, when you have your birthday, and I'm talking about your birthday year from February of this year till February of next, there's going to be like this feeling of, now Aquarius is about freedom and liberation and independence anyway, but that's going to be like pulling you this year even more so. It's like, I want to feel free and I want to be liberated from things that hold me back, and I want to be able to move forward, and I want to expand my mind and my presence and my connections with other people. So they were saying to start attending more things like this, whether it's like this, a lecture, a guided meditation, you know, which a lot of people do. You know, I have a lot of free offerings when it comes to the guided meditations and this monthly event, and, you know, my YouTube channel doing weekly and monthly readings for the collective. So as much as you can take advantage of those things, and then maybe taking little lectures or classes, because this is going to be a year to liberate yourself in little increments. I don't know that there's going to be big changes, but this is a year that focuses on home and family, and you wanting to feel a little bit more free and liberated, meaning you're here to balance that home and family dynamic with your children, with your husband and whatnot, but you're balancing that this year with my life purpose, my life path, my destiny path, who I want to be in the world. And there's going to be even more changes coming next year. And that's all they want to say about that right now. But know that freedom is going to be, well, Pluto going into Aquarius, your sign, Uranus, the ruling planet, turning direct is going to like, it's going to explode out this energy of change, redirection, freedom. You know, what can I do for the future? My future goals and aims and visions for the future. Now I'm going to redirect to the cards that I pulled for you and those messages. So the very first message was, I pulled two cards from this deck. The first one was attachment. Like there's certain masks you might be wearing. This person has a mask in their hand, right? So you're talking about religion, and that's not really you. So it's like time to take off the mask. Now, do you have to do it all at once? No. This is why they talked earlier about increments, doing things in little bits and pieces and increments. But you're releasing the attachment to the old thoughts, perceptions, ideas, belief systems that are no longer you. And as you do that, as you release the attachments to these things that are no longer you, and you pull this mask off, I got the Sun card. This is like shining your light, being seen for who you really are, feeling joyful, happy, optimistic. You know, all of these wonderful things are going to come in. Your cup is going to be overflowing. She's standing in this beautiful cup with the sun shining on her. And this is going to be you once you move into your authentic self. That's going to be one thing, a mantra for you, for Aquarius, to be your authentic self. Now, again, you don't have to do it all at once. You don't have to shock people, you know, or whatever, but it's going to be happening. And then also, because this is a card of success, right? The Sun card means success. The next deck was sweet success. Okay, so we got Goddess Oshun with sweet success, just reinforcing that beautiful message. And two cards came out of this one: Goddess of Dreams, Vision, Intuition, Receptivity. Again, bringing up the fact that you are very intuitive. You just have a different way of doing it. It's like, it's almost like for you, it's merging intellect and intuition, because Aquarius can seem very logical, but they're also highly intuitive. So this is you with this intuition and your vision, the visions that you get of the insights. And you got wonderful Archangel Phanuel that come in. So you got beautiful Archangel with hope, optimism, and new beginnings that's guiding you along your path this year. They said to be very intentional about what it is that you desire. So again, go back to new moon that we just had on Thursday. I'm going to go home like in the next day or two or three. I'm going to write out what I would like for myself for 2024. What are my intentions for 2024? What do I want to accomplish? What light do I want to move into, right? And they said there's lots of gifts and talents that you have from other lifetimes, other dimensions of time and space, even maybe another star system. You might be a star person. Most Aquarians are star people. So there's a lot of these hidden gifts, talents, and abilities within you that are needing to and will be coming up and out into the surface of your reality. So I'm really, really super excited for you in this year that's coming up. Because you got a lot of wonderful changes. Okay.
May I say that if I take my mask, it's gonna be the end of other things. I don't want to say it, but if I take that mask, it will be the end of that, of
That's
my
why they
relationship.
say you don't have to take it off all at once. You can just say, rather than taking the mask fully off, you can say, I'm going to go to this workshop, this networking workshop on Zoom. You don't even have to tell anybody what it's about. It could be a class, a workshop, it's something like this, and you could say, I'm going to meet some new people on a Zoom networking event, period.
Yeah.
Right? A networking event is not something that's scary, or it shouldn't be scary to other people. I'm just going to network and make some new friends. I'm going to go to this networking event and make some new friends and connections. That's it.
That's sort of like I've been doing. I'm just gonna go out with my girlfriends. I have to do everything in hiding. I cannot be myself at all. I also wanted to just, before we go, I also want to point out that I do get a lot of flashes of thoughts. And because in the past I have thought of things and then, they were not good, I dismiss them. I'm like, this is just me. Sometimes they're very strong and very good. Like they kind of clarify things for me in my life. And I say, okay, that makes sense. But usually when I have thoughts, I'm like, that's just me. There's a few thoughts that make me feel like, oh, yes, that it makes sense to me why this happened and that's happening to me later on. Yes. But the majority of my thoughts, I don't trust them. But I didn't know. I thought for intuition, I had to feel it in my body only, or if I had to see visions, and I'm not a visual person. If I close my eyes, I don't see anything. So scientifically, there is a name for that even for people that cannot see. So I'm not a visual person in that sense. I don't feel things, but then it must be true that my intuition is coming through my thoughts. And so now I have to figure out how to sort them out. How is it when it's me and when it's something else? Because I have experienced that already. I just, unless they're very clear, I say, oh, this didn't come from me. But if not, I'm like, I'm not even gonna touch it because no, I don't know.
Research claircognizance and research the lesser known clairintellect term. Claircognizance, it's CLAIRCOGNIZANCE, claircognizance. And then you can do clairintellect as well if you want. Okay.
Thank you, ladies.
Hopefully we'll see you at more events here or there or everywhere. Okay. All right.
Oh, definitely. You'll see me.
Okay. So we have time, I think, for one more. And I was drawn from the very beginning to Gloria. So Gloria, do you want to tell us your date of birth, Gloria? Whoops, you're on mute. Let me see here. Whoops, I think I just muted you again. I'm sorry. Ask to unmute. There we go. Or can you unmute yourself? There, I think I unmuted you. Oh, I can't hear you. No, I can't hear you. Oh, no. Oh, wait. I think I heard you for a brief second. Now
Muted in my phone.
Okay, now I hear you again. Now I can't hear. Oh my God. No, can't hear you, Gloria. Why don't you? Oh, you're on your phone too. So you can't probably type in the chat as far as giving me your date of birth. Cannot hear you. September? All right. What day in September? The 2nd? All right, Miss Virgo, what is your year of birth? Do you understand what she's saying?
2020.
Well,
So
it
is it
can't be
September?
1920.
No, September 20th.
Oh, September 20th?
No, August. That's August. Oh, 8th, 28th.
You know what? I'm not gonna
Is
worry.
it?
I'm not gonna worry about the numerology. I'll just pull cards.
So she's got September 28th.
Oh, is it 28th? All right.
Okay, what year?
It doesn't matter.
Okay.
I'll just figure out the personal year number.
Like, oh my goodness.
Yeah, right.
Like, sounds like.
Sounds
Yeah,
like.
that's
All
not even
right.
sounds like. Sounds like is this, but whatever.
All
That's
right.
interesting.
You go ahead, Kathi.
Okay. So, now I have to like guide myself back to where I was.
I'm sorry.
No, that's fine. That's fine. It's not your fault. I was guided to Gloria too, so I think it's funny that you picked her because I
Oh,
just kept
okay.
kept being pulled to her as well. So it's kind of funny. So Gloria, I know the first thing that came when I was because I just had a feeling you were going to be next, so I'm like I'm just going to pull cards while Colleen's talking. I keep seeing a bear with you, which I also work with totem animals as well because we have guides that are many different versions of guides. It's funny, it's the year of the dragon. I have a dragon as a guide that I absolutely adore. So I'm just going to say that. So I was like, oh, yay. I get to play with the dragon all year long now. But I keep seeing a bear around you, like a big brown. It's funny because it actually even came out like a big brown bear. That's exactly what the bear I keep seeing. So I thought it was funny that I was already seeing it and then the card flew out of the deck. But it's also healing, which means that bear spirit is also, you must have gone through things in your lifetime that you're still sort of healing from, which I know a lot of us do. But I think that you really are hyper focused on working on that. Does that make sense to you? Okay. So what they're saying is that, Bear is coming to me and saying that he will be with you all of your life. He's been with you when you've been born, and he's going to walk with you all through your life because he's here to help you sort of like, so funny, he keeps going like to tear through things and just like get rid of them. It's almost like if you rip up papers, that's what makes me think of like just ripping it up and throwing them away, like that kind of thing. And just allowing yourself to like really go deeply into the healing of that. So I know that there's still mind, like thoughts, feelings, and emotions that still sort of connect. And sometimes you work off of them. I also know you're a healer. So I'll say that also, kind of just throw that in the mix. But yeah, so but I feel like the healing is going to be very important for you this year. I feel like you're finally going to be able to get to the point of what you've been trying to work so hard to get to that point and finally release it and make peace with it. And I know that you are close to there. Like I was sort of say, you only got this much more to go, that kind of feeling. So allow yourself to just keep working the way that it works for you. There's also something new for you coming as far as learning, as far as a healing technique. And I feel like it's like on the holistic path. That's what it feels like to me. But I definitely feel like there's a healing technique that's coming forward for you. So allowing yourself to sort of be open to that possibility and move yourself forward because I keep getting new beginnings. Like there's going to be a lot of new beginnings for you. I probably should put that up closer so you can see it. Absolutely love those daffodils, just saying. Yeah, and a lot of magic, like a lot of allowing yourself like almost like you have fairies around you is what I always think of when I think of magic. I think of like things that we're not normal to see or not used to seeing, like unicorns and fairies and Pegasus and that whole realm. I just think there's going to be these sporadic moments of like, oh my gosh, this is so magical. Oh my goodness, this is so great. And I will tell you that if you've been misplacing, I keep seeing rings that maybe you may have misplaced or you don't know what happened to them. like they have been there and now they're not there. You definitely have fairy energy around you. So I'm just going to enlighten you to that and just talk to them. And when they bring things back, because they will bring certain things back to you, do make sure that you offer them, like make an offering for them. They love chocolate, just saying. They love chocolate, they love sparkly things. So they like shiny dimes, shiny change, you know, and then just put it in one particular place. I usually tend to leave it outside on my porch as a thank you to them. So that you can, because they can be very mischievous. So you just want to be careful to really say, thank you so much. Here you go. Here's your little thank you, you know, because otherwise you can have a lot of things missing in your house. So I'll just forewarn. You just have like, I feel like you're walking around in a magical realm right now. Like there's just these amazing things, like animals are trying to talk to you. You know, you go outside and there's like a crow that's cawing, you know, it's like always just being very aware of all that's around you, and keep doing that because you are just so wanting to embrace the earth and embrace the beauty that's around in that, or in the earth that we live in. So keep connecting with, I know it's winter, keep connecting with trees, keep walking on the earth, even if it's like freezing outside and you go out and you just stare at the woods for a minute and just tell everybody how much you love them. Does that make sense? You're a pretty magical being, so I'm just going to say
Yes,
that. So yeah.
yes.
Oh, we heard you.
Oh, can you hear me now?
We can hear you now.
Oh, good.
But I
Oh my
also feel like
God.
wherever you're going, whatever you're going to learn, it's almost like I would highly recommend learning something about working with the fairies, because you have that magic in you to be able to work with them and honor them and create things. I keep seeing you creating things like tinctures and like essential oils and things like that, but also but fairy magic oils. And there's something about they keep showing me a hummingbird. Like there's something about connecting with energy of the hummingbird to be able to create, it looks like a roller ball, like some kind of a roller ball ointment. So I'm not quite sure what that is, but they keep showing me like creating things like that. So there's definitely hummingbird energy that you're going to connect with, that you're going to be able to utilize that and actually create things. So
Oh my
yeah,
God,
kind
it's
of
just
magical.
amazing. I'm always drawn to fairies and like nature, like it's like all that magic. And then you show that card and it has a fairy tale. And when I saw that fairy, I was like, it's like, I'm so drawn to them. Yes.
Yeah,
It's like magic.
absolutely.
Yes.
You have that energy. You have that energy for sure. There's no doubt about it. I'm just going to pass it to Colleen, and I'm just going to mute myself so I can be quiet.
Colleen, we cannot hear you.
Colleen, you need to unmute yourself.
I do need to unmute myself. Thank you. I'm like, who am I talking to? Where am I? Gloria. Okay, so Gloria, first of all, we know you're a Libra, and this is important to know because astrologically, we've got the North Node and South Node in Aries and Libra this year. And what that is the South Node in astrology is the past and deals with past lives and past life karma, also past life gifts, talents, and abilities. But it's the past. It's what we're supposed to be moving away from. The North Node is the future, what we're supposed to be working towards, aspiring towards, moving in that direction towards. And because you're a Libra and the nodes are in Libra and the opposite sign of Aries, this is telling me that there's going to be a karmic shift coming up in your life at some point soon. And I was trying to figure out when that was based on your day of birth, and it's the 28th. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they're talking about September of 2024 as being a month that's going to be especially significant as far as a shift, a karmic shift in energy for you. Now, like old doors can close. Now, it doesn't mean it's going to happen all at once and all in September, but you're going to be made more aware of it in September, where old doors will eventually be closing and new doors or windows will eventually be opening. So pay attention to September for whatever, message or guidance or significance that might hold for you. You are in a year of empowerment though right now until your birthday in September. You're right now in this year of really moving into your power or taking your power back. And it's funny, when I pulled cards, the very first card I got for you is the same card that I got for Maria. And it was the same first card that I got for Maria. And I thought, well, that can't be right. So I put it back in the deck, shuffled, 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 pulled it out again.
Wow.
So this is definitely saying that there's, some sort of attachment energies to the past, which is what we were just talking about, or attachment energies to ideas, perceptions, belief systems. And they were showing me that it has to do on a mental body level. So you want to look at what thoughts am I holding that are less than positive? What perceptions do I have about myself and about my life that are less than positive? What belief systems do I have maybe that I grew up from childhood with that are less than positive? And this is going to be a time where you need to detach from those. Take off that mask of illusion to those thoughts, perceptions, belief systems that are no longer valid for you. Okay, so that was the first message. And then I think Kathi was talking about, I'm trying to remember how she phrased it, but weren't you saying something, Kathi, about like learning something new as far as her gifts, or I don't know, something like that? And
Yeah,
so,
going back to some type of
I'm like
schooling.
listening to the stuff that Kathi's saying in the background while I'm tuning into what your angels and guides are saying. And right when Kathi was talking about that, I got this card that says there's new spirit guides coming in to help you. It says spirit mentors, teachers, or new guides. So this could be actually a person in the flesh. This could be you seeking out new teachers to learn something new, take a class, lecture, workshop. This could be just like someone who's a wise person or a wise elder that has information to share with you. Or it could actually be new spirit guides coming in, new angels coming in to help you on your path. And the message about what they're helping you with was about you learning more about or heightening, just like with Maria, your intuition, your intuitive capabilities, your ability to receive messages from the higher planes of reality. So I feel like there's also some goddess energy coming in. I don't know who the goddess is, though. Do you have a hit on a goddess for her, Kathi? Some sort of goddess energy. So goddess is, that divine feminine. So we're talking about, intuition, vision, all the clairs. We're talking about nurturing yourself, coming into self-love and self-compassion, self-forgiveness, all of that divine feminine energy that you might give out to others, right? I love you. I hear what you're saying. I'm empathic to what you're going through. I'm nurturing you. I'm supporting you. It needs to be turned inward on self now. I feel like that's what the goddess energy is helping you with. And then Kathi said a phrase, and I don't remember what the context was, but she said something about new beginnings. And as soon as Kathi said that, I pulled the card New Beginnings. So that's why I was over here chuckling, although I had myself muted, and I was like, oh my God, every time Kathi says something, I'm getting a message that confirms what she's saying. And some of the new beginnings are with the hopes, dreams, wishes, goals, aims that you have for yourself. So again, going back to the new moon in Capricorn that we just had, you might want to write out your intentions. What do you want to manifest in this year of 2024? Because new beginnings are happening, and they can happen for you with whatever it is that you envision. So don't just write them out, but have the vision of them. Meditate, close your eyes, see, feel, sense the vision, the dream, what it is that you want. And if you don't know exactly what it is that you want, envision the feeling that's attached to it. I feel joy, I feel excitement, I feel enthusiasm, I feel anticipation, I feel whatever it is. I feel abundance, I feel prosperity. If you don't know the details of what it is. And then the other thing they were talking about is huge spiritual transformation. They're saying like in the next 2 years. So it may start this year, but it's going to continue into 2025, whatever this huge spiritual transformation is. It's like a huge like death and rebirth, metaphorically speaking, in your life. Old circumstances and situations, and this is more they're saying in 2025, but like I said, it'll trickle in 2024. There's going to be like a need to release and let go of the old so that something new can be born. They were showing me, because you're Venus, and Venus is ruled by the planet Venus. You're a Libra, and Libra is ruled by the planet Venus. So I actually got the card that says Garden to Venus. And when I pulled this, they said, tell her to look up the degree and sign that her Venus is in her chart. I don't know what it will relate to, but there's something significant about that. Maybe it's being transited by something right now. A lot of times, if you're a sun sign Libra, I'm a Libra as well. And my Venus is also in Libra, because Venus travels pretty close to our sun. So if you're a sun sign Libra, your Venus might be in Virgo, it might be in Scorpio, but it might actually be in Libra as well. But there was something important about that. And Venus is the planet of love and rules relationships, and rules on the opposite side of things. It rules money and finances and personal resources. And it rules how we value ourselves. So wherever Venus is in your chart, how it's being aspected, or if anything right now from the planets that's, you know, up in the cosmos right now might be connecting to your Venus, there's something beyond what I'm saying that might be a message for you. And then the last message I got was about connecting with others of like mind, making sure you're connecting with other people of like mind, because Libra is a social sign. We like people. We're people pleasers, but we're also people lovers. You know, we like to connect and be social and have fun and just have our tribe and have our team. And so make sure that, because you're shifting and transforming and evolving right now in this present moment and in the future to come, the next few months, that your mindset, your belief systems, your level of awareness might all be shifting and changing, and therefore you'll be pulling in new people to connect with, new people that can support you in where you're going and on your path, and new people that have been where you are or are where you are. And there's just like this symbiotic kind of, you know, relationship that's going on. So that's what I got. Kathi, anything else?
Not that I can think of at this point in time.
Okay, everybody. Thank you so much for
Thank
tuning
you.
in. This will be uploaded on my YouTube channel under Colleen Lemma. If you want to watch it again, it'll be there. And I send you all lots of love and light and many blessings for 2024.
Thank you so much.
Thank you,
you all
everybody.
so much. Until next month,
Bye.
we'll see you then.
Yeah, next
Thank
month.
you.
See you then.
Bye.
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 People are chatting also.